So anyway, this woman, her name was Jan, and she had been a prostitute for years, and that guy has never come out of that bathroom. He's been in there at least 15 minutes. 20 minutes, more like it. So Jan was falsifying this evidence on audio monitoring, and she was going down to the cop, and I don't know if she was turning in recordings or just signing an affidavit, or what, I don't know. Was she faking the tape or faking the audio monitoring, and then every morning was turning it into a cop or having contact with a cop about it. It was a Shreveport Police Squad car. And I do have surveillance of me narrating that as it occurred, and while these events happened, I had that audio recorded too. So, it's extremely intrusive in violation of our rights to privacy. I called last night and spoke to the Shreveport Police Department while Charles was playing his little game with the radio. And I got a snow job from the woman that I spoke to. She's like, why do you need to speak to a detective? I said, because the sheriff's detective told me I needed to call and speak to a Shreveport Police Department detective. Well, you don't need to speak to a detective, you know, is what she said to me. There's no reason for you to, you know. She wasn't going to let me, and then she hung up the phone. While Charles was doing his little radio thing that I already described, where he got up and ran to the bathroom. So, it's easy to sit back and call somebody crazy. It is. It's always fun to do. So there's a guy that worked here, he's around the corner there. He looked around the corner this way and then stepped back. It's like he's probably messing with the water hose over there or something. You know, it's easy to say all this, but the sad truth of it is that whoever the cop is behind it doesn't have a bona fide case. How could you possibly have a case against somebody if the only evidence that you can find is audio monitoring, and the only reason you can do just audio is because you can't get a search warrant for audio and visual? If I was in my room with my son, beating him, molesting him, or using drugs with him, there would be no problem finding probable cause to establish that fact, which for a detective, the most things that you can use informants for is to establish probable cause for a detective to do an investigation. And at that point, if the evidence could not be readily found with a search warrant, then consensual monitoring would be used too. So in both of those instances, audio and video surveillance equipment could be installed without my knowledge on the basis of a search warrant. And then the case would be proven that quickly. So to continuously audio monitor somebody and take affidavits from people that they live with and believe that the people that they live with are just telling the truth when you can't justify what you're saying legally, then you know what? You don't have a case. That's what that is, and that's what a judge should be able to tell immediately. You want to accuse somebody of being a pedophile and a child molester, of abusing their child, and invade their rights to privacy and treat them like they're in a jail cell. I've never been charged with a crime, okay? That's the truth. That being the case, and the fact that there's no evidence to support what the informants say, other than audio monitoring that the cop says he overhears what's being done and is documenting it, but can't use video. You know what? You don't have a case. That's why you're limited to that type of evidence. And you can do it all day long and all day long, but guess what? If you don't have a case and there's no evidence there, then why should a judge believe you if you walked into, and there's a man just walked into the bathroom. I guess the other guy must have walked out the other side, which is an employee entrance only door. You're going to accuse somebody of doing something like that and justify your investigation for as long as my son and I have been subjected to this. And to do it for as long as I've been through it with my son. Then you should have been able at some point to take your evidence to a detective and get a bona fide search warrant for audio and video to prove that what your snitches are saying is true or not true. And I mean, we've lived in the house where we're staying now with Darlene since January the 5th. Okay, today is January 30th. That is 25 days. And if what they're saying is true, Charles has been there for what, 2 weeks now? A week at least. I think over a week, yeah. And it should have even by now should have been able to prove it. That's the truth. Right. And that just reeks of suspicion. It reeks of, gee, this must be a fabricated case. You're accusing this woman of being a pedophile, raping her son, or allowing her son to be raped, engaging in drug activity, drug trafficking. But you have all these affidavits from your snitches, and you still haven't proven your case. Really? And you want what? A restraining order? Or something like that? No, would be my answer. Who do you think you're kidding would be the next words out of my mouth. It's fucking cold. I'm not going into this bathroom. It's too suspicious. So, you can call me paranoid and crazy, but if you got a fucking psychiatric patient that, you know, is doing this kind of stuff, you know, with some guy who's a vagrant moving in that has been an informant for the cops, then, you know, there's plenty of reason to doubt what they say. Why would you just believe what they say and act like the rest of it doesn't matter? And why do they think it doesn't matter that I am recording with audio and video as much as I can, which should be the first thing that they did. If you're going to monitor somebody, why would you, and you're saying that they consented to it, why would you only use audio? Right? Why would you do that? To avoid prima facie evidence. Audio and video, which will be clear and convincing evidence. That's the only reason. You only do that if you're falsifying a case.